and me. I know it's my destiny. Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em. Love so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Pokemon, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all. Pokemon.
Hello YouTube, this is Necrostevo and you're watching one of my narrated Wi-Fi battles. Hope you guys are having a fantastic Friday. I know I am because I just found out that I passed the Alabama bar. So I thought, what better way to celebrate than to post a battle for you guys. Today's match is an OU, kind of a really super mixed match that I had against Random Man, I think 84 his numbers. But we really just decided, bring whatever you want. And so we did. Now he starts off with Cottony. I started off with Galahad, the Galate, just because I knew I had priority. Now if you guys have never battled against a Cottony before, you guys might not know that it can use its ability Prankster to set up Leech Seed, then set up Endeavor. And at level 1, it's going to get back a lot of that HP, and it can also substitute and set up priority. So if you don't have Weather up and if you don't have priority up, it can Endeavor you down to very low HP, and then the Leech Seed will kill you. And then it'll have a substitute setup, so it'll get all of his HP back. That doesn't work against Pokemon with priority, so Galahad is very able to very easily just knock it right out. He brings in Salamence, and I have the only real bulky thing on this team are my Nidoqueen and Empoleon, which is actually a physically attacking Swords Dance variant, and my specially defensive Rotom fan form. So as you can see there, Empoleon is not able to take a critical hit Outrage, which means it would have 2-hit KO'd anyway. But that's because I don't have that much of HP investment in it. I think I have enough to live an Earthquake from certain Pokemon in NU. But otherwise I don't have that much in there. Now I was really, now that I really did not want to sacrifice Rotom because I don't think he could take it, because he is of course specially defensive. So Nidoqueen, I have max HP, max special attack, and it's modest. And so I go for that Sheer Force boosted Ice Beam, which is also boosted by Life Orb in this case. And that is able to take it out. He brings in Poliwrath, and I really thought he was just going to outspeed me, and I was afraid he'd set up if I switched out. So I stayed in and went for Thunderbolt, but I actually outspeed him, which is a little bit surprising. And I'm able to do a great amount of damage, which means I'm going to be able to revenge kill very easily here. So Nidoqueen goes down. Queen Brawn did a great job there, taking out Salamence, crippling Politoed, put me in a great position. I'm able to go back out into Galahad and just finish him off with the Life Orb. If you wanted to switch into anything, Psycho Cut is going to have good neutral coverage against the majority of his team, if not all of his team. Now he goes out into Lucario. I know that he outspeeds me because, of course, I'm carrying a Life Orb. And just going by base speeds, the only way I could outspeed him is if he were some weird bulky variant, I guess. And of course he predicted me to switch because that'd be kind of weird to stay in there. And he goes for the Swords Dance, and then he surprised me by going for Aura Sphere. This makes this a mixed Lucario. And that Aura Sphere, you saw he got a crit there. It did no damage to Rotom Fan because I resisted. And probably also just because he's so high up in the air, the Aura Sphere has further distance to travel against a flying type who's also levitating, and so that power is going to be lost. Now, I do kind of question him switching out there, even though I have the Air Slash and the Will-O-Wisp. He could have outsped me and hit me with a physically boosted attack, and though I would have resisted it, it probably would have gone a little bit better than him switching into Luxray. Because seeing the Intimidate on Luxray means that I can just go for my Parafusion combo, confuse him, go for Discharge because I know that he doesn't have any type of move to absorb the electricity. And if he has Intimidate, that means he doesn't have Guts. So that means he'll be confused, paralyzed, burned, and then I'll try to go for flinches with the Air Slash. It's a bit of a weird set, especially being especially defensive, but it does very, very well. Normally, Ice Beam is not able to kill it, which means I'm able to confuse or hopefully paralyze something. And it can also, since it's flying type, I put a little bit in defense so that it can take things like random close combats. The only thing I really have to watch out for is its Stealth Rock weakness, and Stone Edges are the main thing. It's kind of like a Zapdos in lower tiers, but Fanform Rotom does very well. Now, knowing that he's burned, he's not going to be able to do too much to Tyranitar. I go out into the Fatalis, the Tyranitar who is uh, a bulky Tyranitar. I have like 4 different Tyranitar now because I just kind of went on a breeding spree with them a little while ago, and I need to breed one more to have one that does not set up Sandstorm so that I can use it in non-Sandstorm teams. Um, he goes for Ice Fang there, maybe predicting a switch, but I set up my Stealth Rocks because I know that the Burn and the Sandstorm and maybe even a few Confusion hits are going to whittle him down eventually. And if he tries to switch out, I have Crunch and Pursuit. So this Luxray is pretty much death fodder at this point. I think he knows it, so he just stays in it. He's going for Ice Fangs, probably fishing for the Flinch or the Freeze, but Fatalis doesn't really deal with that. You know, she has Fatal in her name. So get to take out Luxray there, not too much of a problem. Of course, this does give him a chance to switch back into Lucario, which Tyranitar can't really take a close combat, even though it's HP bulky. And I believe this is my specially bulky variant. And I didn't really have anything that I wanted to switch into a close combat, because I knew if I switched in Fanform Rotom, he could outspeed me and maybe go for another one, and since I'm specially defensive, that might not have panned out too well. But although I can switch in Fanform Rotom and not have to take a close combat, and just go straight for trying to burn him or confuse him again, he goes for Swords Dance. He's probably trying to get his attack levels up to a point to where he'll be able to at least put me in revenge kill range. But I'm okay with him Swords Dancing up, because now if he hits himself, he is going to be doing a lot more damage to himself, so I'm kind of hoping that'll hit himself. Unfortunately, he doesn't, but that's okay, because of course he hit himself earlier, so you know that 50-50 coin flip. And we see that that close combat did a ton of damage, so earlier when he switched out into Luxray, if he had just stayed in close combat in me, he probably would still have his Luxray. Uh, and here, I know I resist his close combat, and I know he has Aura Sphere and he has Swords Dance, so his last move is, I'm not really sure what it would be for coverage, maybe a Rock type move or something like that, or maybe even Dark Pulse, because he has special moves just for coverage. But I surprisingly outspeed him right there, but I was expecting to kind of just lower his defenses so that when I sent in something else, it could take advantage of his defenses being lowered. But since I knocked out Lucario, that means Emboar is going to come out here and get outsped as well. And that's going to be the end of this battle. So I hope you guys enjoy this. It's always fun to just kind of use random things. I believe Random Man and I are supposed to have a more standard match a little bit later. In that match, I didn't get a chance to use physically offensive Empoleon at all, which was a little bit sad. I really want to try that out, just as far as Swords Dancing up and Waterfall, and maybe I might put Aqua Jet back on it. We'll have to see about that. But anyways, though, I'm in a good mood. Past the bar. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'm interested if there's anything good going on in your guys' lives right now. Just list it in the comments. We can spread some good vibes around. Hopefully in the next week here, they'll release this patch that I need for the R4i so that I can try posting a high quality battle all on my own without having other people record it for me. But all that aside, you guys have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys later.